called the AD Twisted Fate in drafts. It looked fantastic to me. Will we see it more in the future?
I think it's possible, especially as an answer into the Rise pick to match global pressure and to actually have better global pressure at the level 6 point. When you want to hard commit to camping one of those side lanes, I think the Twisted Fate has a lot of value, and specifically against a champion like the Yuumi here, I think it's almost a perfect fit.
Wow, fantastic performance from Fnatic. Literally every single player. And of course, all the fans here in Berlin very, very excited and cheering loud. Fantastic performance from Fnatic. Now Schalke go back to the drawing board. Outclassed today. Got a lot to figure out when they look forward to week 3. Last week before we go to Rift Rivals. And we got some key up player of the game nominees for you. Broxah, Nemesis, or Hylissang at LOL Esports on Twitter. This is actually a super tough one for me because all 3 of them were pivotal, especially once those towers fell. You talked about shadowing. If you're just going to say Hylissang, then I may have to pass.
I'm not. I was actually going to say that Whippo just got robbed because he got like multiple solo kills in that game.
But was he the reason they won the game?
I mean, I thought Kennen was probably Schalke's best chance at coming back into it, and he just bodied him in the 1v1, which was really impressive.
Yeah, I think Whippo actually set up Fnatic for a lot of
he's not
success. On the boat. But out of the 3 here, I think, you know, anytime Hylissang gets Pyke, I just know I'm going to enjoy watching the game. And this was no exception. What
is special about Hylissang's Pyke that differentiates it from, let's say, Mickey's?
So I think there's a lot of cool things. The most signature Hylissang thing, though, is the split push that we saw later on. I don't see a lot of other Pyke players doing it, but it's something that when I was actually testing Pyke was so ridiculously frustrating to deal with. And I think it's something that a lot of other Pyke players should learn from and do themselves.
Oh, man. Okay, we'll have to see if everybody can. You guys at home will have to let us know your thoughts. And who is the best Pyke? I'm going to ask someone other than Ender next weekend. And of course, yeah, just a fantastic performance from Fnatic. It sets us up next week for Fnatic versus G2. G2 playing the next game. I mean, this is a lot of hype. You mentioned number 1 and number 2. Is there a clear gap from 1 and 2 to everybody else? You know, where does Origin sit in your scale?
For me, I'm thinking there's 1, 2, and 2.5. That's kind of how I'm looking at it right now with Origin. But I don't think there's anything. I mean, we're in week 2. This is week 2, right? We're in week 2. Like, there's nothing. Like, nothing's being set in stone right now. But I do think that performance right there, Schalke is not a bad team, by the way.
Yeah.
That's what I think is most impressive about it.
Yeah, they're not, but they got made to look like it.
Exactly.
Just because of how well Fnatic played. Well, look, you'll have to tune in next week to see Fnatic again. For now, though, let's hear from Hylissang.
Thank you very much, guys, and thank you, Hilly, for joining me. I wish we could see a 1v1 with Pyke between you and Wunder, but tell me about it. What makes you like the champion so much?
I think his playstyle kind of suits me. He's a champion, kind of like to have action on the map and roam. Also, his HP passive that you regen is kind of nice because you can like take like unnecessary trades and just bait enemy to like try to chase you and stuff. And it's kind of, I think this is his only supportive tool that he has. So yeah, I don't know. I just like to play champion a lot.
Let's have a noob talk here, because I want to play Pyke, but I sure couldn't play it like you. So what should you be careful about when playing this champion? What is the setup for success?
I think what you need as a Pyke, you kind of need like front line. You need some beefiness in front of you, or CC. I think CC is very valuable for him, so you can land the ultimate, otherwise there is a lot of outplay. And yeah, I think global ultimates are kind of nice as well. So you can have pressure and like roam around the map. I think that those 2 things are important.
Right, I'll try to remember that. Now, you're popping off with Pyke. You're so good with Rakan as well. But what kind of champions would you like to see in the LEC that we haven't seen yet?
For support? Actually, I don't think many people play Thresh. I think Thresh is really strong. I played it already, but I think the champion is really strong. And also maybe Bart. I think Bart has some potential. It's kind of my playstyle as well, so I'll say Bart.
After your performance, I was just told that you're a player of the game, so...
Oh, really? I'm actually surprised.
Why?
Usually support don't get a lot of recognition. A lot of people kind of steal it. Joking, of course. It just rarely support that gets MVP, so I'm really glad, and Yeah, I'm grateful.
You deserve it, dude. Thank you very much for the interview and for the tips on Pyke. I'll try to remember everything.
You're welcome.
Now we're gonna take a short break, and when we return, we'll highlight Herbs, mid laner turned bot laner, and one of the most decorated players in EU history. 380 professional games, 5 domestic titles, and 1 MSI trophy. And this is only the beginning. Join us for a walk down memory lane after the break.
Already roaming, he's got a teleport available to him. Hylissang with the flash hook manages to catch upset under the tower because they're the ones making the proactive plays. So there's the Destiny and the gate and the gold card, and that's it, one dead pigeon. It's a fight in every single lane. The tower is just about to go, but the gold card catches up a target. Schalke lost-ditch effort, they're down 14,000 gold. Odo 1, there's the only one. Flash away from Rekkles. Now Odo is in trouble. He will get taken out.
Fnatic can just keep pushing forward, keep poking out, go for the kill.
Death from below will pick up one as Rekkles gets another into the fountain. The Bone Skewer will pull Trick back, and now Ignore on the kitty cat is the last man standing. Fnatic are waiting and fancying themselves to die. Fnatic undefeated after 2 weeks.
For the finals.
Experience the LEC Finals in Athens with Shell V-Power.
Welcome back to our final match of the week, G2 Esports versus Vitality. Now, before the teams hit the Rift, I wanted to take an opportunity to talk to you about one of the greatest players in European history, none other than G2 Perkz. Now, from the moment that Perkz joined our league in 2016, he has dominated domestically. 4 back-to-back champions, winning his first title in his first split. He and Trick redefined what it meant to be a jungle mid duo in Europe. But domestic is the important word, because international success consistently evaded G2. And you know, for a brief moment at 2017 MSI, we got a taste of what it would look like for G2 to come out on top when they took it to SKT in the finals. And while they fell short, it was a strong showing. Sadly, however, Worlds 2018 was more of the same. Another G2 vacation. And in 2018, everything changed, because it was no longer Sven and Mithy and Perkz. It was no longer the all-star roster that we got used to dominating domestically. It was a new roster with new talent. And despite lower expectations heading internationally, they had some of the greatest results we've ever seen. They took down RNG in a best-of-5. They denied LPL their golden road. They denied the golden boy his world's chance. That's Uzi. Coming into 2019, after such a fantastic split, he did something insane. In order to make his team stronger, in order to take it to the next level, so Europe could do even better than they had before, he put himself on AD carry, so the Caps could play mid. And maybe you, like I, were skeptical when it started, right? How could you not be? But he very quickly proved all of the doubters wrong. And one of the most dominant splits we've seen since the perfect split from Fnatic, that 18-0, Perkz and G2 destroyed Europe. And you, like I, were probably full of hype. You were full of that euphoria when we went into MSI, and this time it was justified. We saw the world-class talent there, but it did not stop Perkz for a second. Teddy, done, gone. Doublelift, done, gone. Who cares? The MSI champion, G2 Esports, and Perkz are here in Europe now because of what he did, because he swapped down and made the difference. And yes, he is not the perfect AD carry yet, but in 3 months on this role, he has done what most players can't even dream of doing in their entire career. And now, as we enter 2019 summer, the question is not how great is Perkz, it's how high can the ceiling go? How dominant can he be? And from what we've seen so far, the answer is already pretty damn dominant. To break it down a little bit more, we'll send it over to Frostgurn.
Thanks, Dracos. You heard it there. He killed Uzi, he killed Teddy, he killed Doublelift. What is left? Well, I got the opportunity to watch Perkz play in Pro V yesterday on one of my favorite champions in Sivir. So I wanted to break down why Sivir for Perkz wasn't just about the 500 CS win condition and point out what makes Perkz' laning so dominant and the 3 core tenets that go into strong laning. So the first one that we're going to talk about is playing around cooldowns. This one's fairly obvious. And in this matchup, the 2 cooldowns that you're playing around are Crown Shot's Q and Dream's Q. Both supports happen to be in these brushes. We can go ahead and play it. Now, this is cheating a little bit because this is more so on Mickey, but it still goes to that strong 2v2 presence. So what they're going to do is Mickey's going to stand against this wall, and he's going to dodge the Tahm Kench Q, checking for damage into that brush. He also then predicts that Ezreal is going to look for his Q, sidesteps it again. They wait for a rotation, another Tahm Kench Q is going to come out, none of this damage sticking, before Perkz is going to get access to level 2, Rakan gets access to this bush, and suddenly G2 have complete control over this lane with with their push priority, taking Spell Shield level 2 just for added benefit to absorb it. Now the next is about making sure that your damage sticks, but the opponent's does not. You saw how Ezreal Sivir matchup works around that Spell Shield, but now let's kind of talk about her trading windows. The key trade on Sivir is going to be the auto attack, reset with W on the boomerang, and then eat the Spell Shield again because you're trying to counteract the Mystic Shot. Play it through, this is exactly what Perkz does. He has pressure in this lane, push priority right there, he goes for the auto attack, he's going to then reset with his W right there, and even though the Mystic Shot doesn't connect, none of that damage is ever going to end out in Perkz' back pocket. He lanes with his first pop from back for 9 minutes in this lane phase. Dreams and Crown Shot could not touch him, which leads to the last core tenet of lane phase, and it's respecting pressure. At this point, check out where Mickey is. He's been kicked out of the lane because if you look at the mini-map, their jungler is topside and they have no eyes on where Selfmade is. The reason why they shove Mickey out there is to scout and to hide them. Play the clip. So Mickey's out here making sure that no one's going to gank them, the wave is going to pressure forward, and he's also going to get access to level 3. So not only is he creating a safety net for Perkz to continue to play aggressive into this lane and free farm, but he's also then has access to level 3. Crown Shot and Dreams haven't seen him for a while, and they can look for engagement like this. It doesn't end up in a kill, but this is some of the creativity that you see in Perkz and Mickey's laning that kind of takes them to the next level. I was super impressed with Perkz on ProView. I love watching him in the lane phase, and his numbers are ridiculous for an ADC that's only been playing 3 months. He is the best ADC in Europe right now, and the sky is the limit, so Quick Shot, take it away.
Well, the sky is the limit, and next week G2 will face off against Fnatic. Before we get to that game, will G2 remain undefeated, as is Fnatic? They take on Vitality. I'm joined once again by Ender and Foxtrot. Vitality have a tall task ahead of them. Foxtrot, how do they have to change their gameplay to even contemplate taking down G2?
Well, Frost said right there, the Perkz is the best AD carry in Europe right now, and I think we've seen a lot of struggle. I'm not sure, have we mentioned this yet?
Just a little, just a few times.
I just want to make sure. You know, I think these guys do need to step up a little bit. The communication they've had perhaps not really been there. We did see them die level 1 to a Sona Taric, which is kind of unforgivable, just a little teeny weeny bit. So, you know, Vitality, they were a team. We're not... 4 of these 5 members right here were really good just a year ago. I want to see a little bit of a return to form, and it starts in that bot lane.
Yeah, I'm also looking at the mid lane too, because we know Jiizuke has been a top 3 mid laner in EU in the past, but he's, you know, been a little bit disappointing the last few weeks as well, even, you know, trailing back into the spring split too. When Vitality were at the peak of their game, it was by playing through their solo lanes. Cabochard still looks solid. He's still a rock for them up there in the top lane, but Jiizuke also needs to elevate himself if he wants to compete against Caps.
And sometimes these things just take time, right? Mowgli came in at the beginning of last split. As a jungler fitting into a new team, it's difficult to do that. Sometimes there's a little bit of rust there, especially obviously a non-native English speaker. It takes a bit of time to warm up to your team, and maybe that's all it is. And can you imagine if they beat G2 right here? An emotionally charged team like Vitality, what that would do for them? We could see a complete 180 of Vitality if they bring out this W.
Well, can you imagine? Right now, no, I can't imagine it. However, G2 Esports has been known to drop the ball in the past at times. Let's see what happens. Let's see which iterations of these teams shows up onto the Rift. It is the final game of week 2 here in the LEC, and we're jumping into draft. G2 Esports on the blue side. Their very first ban is Draven.
Tilla is a very, very solid Draven player, so a lot of respect coming out from him. Already targeting that bot lane, don't want to give Jackal any opportunity to get back into form here.
Yeah, I'm looking at that Yuumi. I want to see Yuumi get a win. That probably means that Vitality has to leave it over for G2.
Especially because Jack Troll is responsible for 2 of Yuumi's 5 losses here on the European stage. Still available. Perkz will lose access to that Sona as Vitality banned it away. Next is the Rise. And of course, you never know what G2 will play. I wonder if, after seeing Hylissang's Pyke, it will raise Pyke in their ego priority lists.
Ego priority list, I think Sylas has to be up there as well. I would say, just generally, objectively speaking, I think Sylas is one of the strongest champions around right now on this patch. And G2 Esports, the fact they can flex it between Wonder and Caps, and the fact that, in my opinion, Caps is the best Sylas that we can see, I would be very surprised to see that left open here from Vitality.
Yeah, there's also the Jarvan that I'll be looking at specifically. It's historically been a very good champion for both of these junglers. Jankos has played it in all 3 of his games so far this split, and he's used to just sort of crowd out his opponents in every single game. Level 2 fights, ganks, all that sort of thing, and that could be a really strong champ for him.
We are going to see, there's the hover of the Yuumi. And it's locked in. All right, we might just be seeing Yuumi set up for a first victory in the LEC. Fantastic stuff. I was listening to Pokes on the E4 podcast the other day, and he was saying about how ban this champion, I don't want to play with it, I don't want to learn it, it's kind of complicated, can't be bothered with that, but finally, G2 are going to play it.
Yeah, and I'm actually most curious to see what does Perkz want to play alongside it, because we've seen, I think, the Ezreal and the Sivir be the 2 most effective champions, but, you know, Perkz has a more unique champion pool himself as well, so that is definitely something that I'm going to be keeping my eyes on here.
Here's an interesting question for you. Oh, okay, fantastic.
All right, let me just, you know, slide this in there real quick.
Do it.
We've actually seen a little bit of Pyke Yuumi bottom lane, specifically played by Rekkles and Hylissang on their stream. I'm not saying we're probably gonna see it, you know, there's a Nico in this as well, but Nico's been a champion that Wonder has liked to play. We might be seeing some shenanigans here.
I was gonna ask you, if you were gonna play a mage in the bot lane with Yuumi, what
Nico
mage?
works too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Nico is a decent setup for that. Yuumi has good engage tools with the speed up if you attach yourself to someone that wants to go in. Nico absolutely is someone else.
Yeah, and regardless of if the Pyke and Yuumi are going together, Yuumi on an invisible champion is terrifying. All of a sudden, it's 2 people coming out of the Fog of War, appearing on you almost instantly with the movement speed as well. It is going to be a very scary thing for G2 to be using and running into Vitality with.
Gentlemen, I'm going to ask the most unfair question a play-by-play has ever asked his color casters.
Oh.
Where are these champions going for G2 before you've seen the Phase 2 picks?
Oh, Yumi's going bot lane. Now it's your turn, Ender.
I'm going to say right now it's probably a Pyke top lane and a Nico bot lane would be my guess. But I'm leaving it up to
I'm actually going to say Pyke mid and Nico top.
Ooh.
So I think that Wonder's going to run this into the Jace.
Why not, G2? Why not?
Yeah, that's my sneaky suspicion here. But honestly, this is the terrifying thing about G2. Everything is a flex pick for these guys.
Well, the Nautilus was locked in, and as you mentioned already, is a very good pick into the Yuumi, very good pick into those champions. You can get double the value from any of that CC, and that point-and-click ultimate can be a game changer.
I also just like how much CC Vitality is bringing across the board. When you think of G2, they play a lot of, you know, montage champions. You know, they want to be running around. If you can catch them with very reliable CC, you can instantly burst them down. And on top of that, they have this Jace for Cabochard, probably his best champion in the top lane, and a champion like the Sejuani try and play around him and get him snowballed in this one.
Did G2 play montage champions, or are they the montages themselves?
Why not both?
Why not both, indeed?
A very, very good question, and we'll find out this game. Xayah locked in for Attila, so a little bit of safety there, leaving their mid laner pick, most likely here, last pick for Jiizuke. And we're going to get an answer. We're finally going to figure out where this Nico and this Pyke are going for G2 Esports. Remember, G2 are 3-0. If they win this game, they'll be with Fnatic at 4-0, and it is a Yorick locked in.
Is it happening here? You know, we can see the Pyke go into the mid lane as well, but there's still options. We aren't going to be 100% locked in. Jankos has his option now for jungler, the Elise or the Jarvan. Both early game champions could be good.
I wish you could have seen the Shoutcaster cam when Ender uttered the words that could be Pyke mid. Foxdrop was definitely the epitome of humility.
A superior analyst?
Of a superior analyst. And it is Elise locked in. The final pick is Echo, another Jiizuke special.
It's a Jiizuke special. It's signature Jiizuke here. If you want to get this guy some confidence back, give him his mojo, put him on one of his most comfortable champions. I really like this here for him, regardless of what he's going up against.
To be fair, we actually don't know for sure if this is Nico in that mid lane, you know. You did mention that Pyke Yuumi bot lane combo.
I'm calling Pyke Yuumi bot lane right now.
Yeah, I mean, you said that Fnatic been playing it on their streams. We might actually see it on the LEC.
And then we might be getting their AP Nico mid and the question mark of who is the best Pyke in Europe. 20 seconds has passed. Perkz will add his name to the list of G2 players that has played a professional game of Pyke on stage. I believe Jankos will be the only one remaining, which means G2, you have a new challenge for the rest of the summer splits.
Yeah, you want to get him on that Pyke. See who is the best Pyke on G2. This is going to be really fun to watch right here. G2 pulling out very special comp up against the signature Jizuke pick for Vitality. This will be good.
I'm reckoning the Pyke, the Yuumi will be on perma roam duty this game. Whenever that G2 plays Pyke and it's not as support, it's not in lane that much, and you have a two-man roam squad now, it's going to be terrifying.
And welcome back to Berlin, and the three fans cheering Vitality's name after the army of supporters yelling, "Let's go G2." Dredgeline already will find a target. Perkz is running for his life already. Vitality are invading into G2's jungle, but they will not overcommit, and there's no further follow-up.
And if you're watching ProView at home right now, you will notice that every single player on G2's side has wished their owner, Carlos or Ocelot, a very happy birthday.
And so happy Berlin. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for the final game here of week 2. And Foxdrop, how would you approach what appears to be a pretty solo queue-esque team composition here from G2?
I think G2 are the epitome of solo queue-esque. I even think when I was watching MSI and their games against Fengwu Buffalo, to me, watching those games made me feel like this is what G2 plays like in scrim/solo queue. They were just the way they run around. They seem to be the team that has the most fun on the LEC. And I'm sure there's no coincidence there. They're also the best team in the LEC. That's the ticket. Just have fun.
Yeah.
It's just a game, guys. Enjoy yourself.
I swear on stage before every game, you will hear Jankos. If you're here at the studio, you'll hear Jankos yelling at the top of his lungs. I don't know what about, but he just is completely unchanged and having a great time.
And to be honest, for good reason, when he's playing on the best team in the world right now, Vitality going in for that early trade. Attila and Jacktroll not going to be dying at level 1 thus far. It's an improvement from their previous game.
Oh man, it feels bad that that's actually true. But nevertheless, the Xayah and the Nautilus now coming into what is a very unique a 2v2 lane. Ender, you were talking about this. You said you've seen it on stream as well. So what is your expectation how this Pyke Yuumi should be, you know, advancing over the next few levels?
Honestly, it's a duo that will really struggle early on. As someone that likes to play some off-meta stuff in the bot lane like this, you'll notice that early levels, you're going to want to let the wave push underneath your tower. You're just going to be trying to farm. Think similar to top lane Pyke, where most early lane phases you will struggle, you will fall behind in CS, but you try to get some levels underneath your belt, and then once you get a jungler down in the bottom lane, or you just leave bot lane entirely and roam around with the invisible Pyke plus Yuumi, the slow from Yuumi's Q as well, going to be undodgeable. It gives you a lot of options to snowball come, you know, the later stages of early game towards mid game.
Right, you only need to cast your mind back to when Wonder was playing that Pyke. Pretty much the exact same style, where you kind of just give up the early lane phase and then you play more towards the gank setup and for the roams. This time around though, Mickey will be able to follow him and make their roams that much more potent.
Yeah, you also have an exhaust on Mickey as well to make sure that no one can escape from this Pyke once he does get on towards you. And also a lot of tools try and set up for big AoE from a Nico as well. You have slows there too with the Glacial Augment on Cap. So this G2 composition is going to be very interesting because with just the press of a couple buttons, they will run at you so fast, close the gap, even without tons of, you know, heavy CC pick tools, they will be able to catch you out.
Yeah, and they've got so much damage as well. So if any member of Vitality is caught out, which has been a problem they've been facing over the last 2 weeks, then will go down very quickly. Jizuke gets a lot of very good damage onto that Nico in the mid lane, uses that Time Winder very well, and Jankos is already setting himself up for a potential dive. Wonder escapes the gank up in the top lane. And now looking for the Cocoon. There's a teleport coming in as well. Jacktroll and Attila are already being targeted. That's a double root, but it's already a dead bird as Jankos will set up the first kill with the help of Caps. Do they fancy another shot? The minion wave is still here. Jankos and Caps have backed away.
Jiizuke on the way. That's a hook on towards the Elise. Going to go up into the air. There's a teleport too from Cabochard. The fight's unfolding.
Not done yet. Jankos is running away with a sliver of health. Jiizuke, he's about to go after him.
The Bone Skewer manages
he got him.
line, but Mickey goes down. Vitality get that turned around. And this time around, G2 back away.
There was so much dedicated into that play right there, but crucially, Mowgli wasn't around. So advantage Vitality right there, having the Sejuani be able to have a bit of free time to farm up here, which is what you want if you're playing Sejuani, right? You want to get to level 6. Don't really want to look for these early plays.
Yeah, also there was this huge gap from when G2 got that first kill onto Attila. He actually respawned and TP'd back into that fight to pick up a kill.
All right, Perkz will be able to escape for now. Lands a Ghost Water dive just as he's escaping Attila and Jacktroll.
Let's see this one again right here as well. Now, this is the power of the Elise pick and why we're seeing it a lot in the LEC, because she's really, really good at these early game dives. Because what Elise can do, she draws tower aggro and then she just pops right up into the repel and drops it down. In this scenario right here, something takes tower aggro, but I don't know what it is because no one uses the repel and they just perfectly juggle it around. But they're here for so long that it allows Vitality the time to counter this play and pick up some kills of their own.
Yeah, Jiizuke also making that rotation back down there, and Attila, of course, able to get the root, double root there with the Nautilus passive as well to catch Mikyx in transition towards the rest of his team.
Okay, we saw Mickey dying on the Yuumi. The Caps will be the recipient of a gank here. Gets turned up in just a moment. Not going to happen. Parallel convergence comes up. That's the dive on the tower. The double root, though. Caps flashes for his life. Now Mowgli's in trouble. Jiizuke uses the ulti to get back out to safety and made it very, very close. Not done yet. That's a flash forward and the dash. Perkz is helping out, but being helped out by Jankos and the double root. Jacktroll and doing a lot of work. Perkz is very low. He's got no death from below. And as he steps out of vision, gets the help back.
Great shot there from Attila and Jacktroll to absorb the pressure, losing summoner spells in that exchange, but they stay alive, and still Mowgli is not playing for them. He's up towards this top side, looking to maybe catch out Wunder.
Now let's find out if he can. Wunder's in so much trouble. Locks in Cabochard and Mowgli, and despite the eulogy of the Isles, it's simply not going to matter. Mater of the Mist will get some damage down. Wait, what is this? Mowgli forced to run for his life. The ghouls won't find him just yet. Cabochard,
he's dead.
He did it! How did that happen? I didn't see the final tick. Now Jiizuke's in trouble. He's got no ultimate available. One blossom goes up. So does the repel. Caps doesn't find the kill, nor does Jankos, and they run for their lives.
That's what we were talking about with the dive from release and the repel, but I'm not really sure what to say right there. Mowgli took so much damage from Yorick's girlfriend right there, and 2 hits from the minions just finished him off.
Managed to work. I didn't see the autos flying. By the way, just as I have a moment, I need to ask everybody that has a Twitter account to answer the following question. Will Europe see its first Yuumi win? Go vote right now at LOL Esports. She is 0-5, but now she's being piloted by G2.
And this started off really well by Wunder, trapping both Cabo and Mowgli in the cage, but look at the Maid on the Mist right here, or the, I don't even know what that looks like.
Why does he turn around though? Like, what are you doing, buddy?
This is the thing, there's loads of these little minions knocking after him as well, and here it is, the 2 little laser beams, they're following him.
They're even hitting him the wall. He doesn't see him coming. Bam! Just gets ganked.
Absolutely blasted out of here.
Is that what Tilt is made of?
I think so, Trevor. I really do think so. Now, here Jiizuke gonna get the shield. Mowgli does dodge away from that fight in the bot lane.
Yes, it is. Vitality are not done yet. Just as I asked the question about will Yuumi win, Yuumi's in trouble. The kitty cat being helped out by Pyke actually steps out, steps in. You and me, Perkz, that's the plan. Perkz is taking Vitality in a run through his jungle and dive through the Ghost Waters. Mickey steps out, may be able to jump back in, and he does. Blast Cone will deliver it. Mickey goes down, and Perkz, by the way, spent so much time for every member of Vitality.
Yeah, and you know, as much fun as I feel like we're having with this game, it feels like G2 are actually sort of throwing it away. When you look at their composition, like, what scaling options do they have? They don't have a late game marksman. Your physical damage is mainly a Yorick, which doesn't output a ton in a team fight. It's more of a side lane threat. So if the game slows down, if they're not able to build up a large lead, I feel like Vitality are going to be able to come in and feel very comfortable in these mid-game fights.
And one of the criticisms I've had of Vitality watching them play so far in the summer split is their team cohesion has felt a little bit off. And this right here is the second 5-man play that Vitality have pulled off.
Check out the top
G2.
lane.
It's another one.
Gentlemen, we're not going to get much time to talk because it's just action aplenty. 6 kills already, another dive up top, and Foxtrot, we're heading on to this compositional talk, but it's Vitality in the leads.
Vitality are having a very, very good start here. Reminds me a little bit about the SK Gaming match that we saw yesterday. But how G2 in this early game, they're really throwing everything at the enemy team here. It's not like they're kind of slowing down by any means, but they are absorbing it very well, Vitality, right now. They actually do have themselves a little bit of a gold lead, and as Ender was saying, they'll be happy with this, because as the game goes on, they have very good tools to win in that kind of 30-minute mark of the game.
Especially when you think 3 of the 4 kills that Vitality have secured, Cabochard's been involved in. He's secured 2, working towards his first itemization right now. He's by far the best performing member on the Vitality squad this summer, and he's got a champion that can absolutely take over the next few stages of the game. Now, Mickey and Perkz will find themselves a prowling projectile, not going to be able to go fishing for that Xayah, and Vitality have started off Drake.
Yeah, I like this here from Vitality. The more fights they can get, the better with this competition. Attila at level 6 as well. This should be good for Vitality and G2 commit in.
All right, let's see if the fight can happen, though. Vitality not going to find the opportunity. The Dragon was secured, so Vitality continue to pull ahead. They get the first neutral objective in that Dragon. And that's going to be very impactful for them if they're able to actually break away and try use some of that regen. It's still early on in the game and there's not too many turret plates down.
I feel like that was a bit of a missed opportunity for Vitality to actually turn on G2 right there, because they have the ultimate from Sejuani available and there's no teleport on Wonder. I think they may have been able to push that one down, but either way they do secure themselves a Dragon, and of course at this stage of the game, especially when you know you're going up against the best team in Europe, you don't want to throw it away with over-aggression.
Yeah, you don't want to give anything up here in Vitality. I think compositionally, very comfortable. They have the tools to split into a 1-3-1 later on, and especially if they can find a kill mid.
Wow, they can. That's going to be a Pop Blossom to buy some time. Cap stays alive a few seconds longer. He manages to find the route onto Mowgli. Goes golden, thanks to the stopwatch. Mowgli escapes by the skin of his teeth. Jizuki needs to pick the right target, and he does, but he's not going to find it. The route is flashed away from Jizuki. Doesn't even have mana. He can't escape. He couldn't use the ultimate. Didn't have the time. Jizuki goes down, and that is just chasing the loss.
Oh, he tried so hard for it, but he knew he couldn't turn back with the ultimate. Perkz and Mickey were on the roam. While that happened, though, it's 2 turret plates picked up by Vitality in that bottom lane, so they're still gaining gold on the map, and because Jizuki, it was just an execute, they're going to be fine.
Not too much lost right there. Mowgli obviously surviving with the aftershock as well.
Just barely.
Very, very close. And Jankos looking for perhaps another dive.
Oh, that was a fantastic cocoon locked inside the baby cage. That is about as beautiful as it's going to get.
Yeah.
Very simple, very clean.
Looking really good now, especially because I think once you approach the level 11 mark, this Yorick is going to be winning out very much in a side lane. Working on that Trinity Force as well. You do outscale this Jace, I feel, unless he commits hard into like the Blade of the Ruined King, which he's not going for. It does limit some of Vitality's side lane options later on.
And one of the really scary things about Yorick, and one of the most underrated things about him as well, is just how good he is at taking towers down specifically. We'll take another look at this play against Caps in the mid lane here. Mowgli takes the initial tower aggro, gets the aftershock with that stun E hit and survives on just a sliver. Jizuki only has to wait for his E cooldown, but as Ender mentioned before, he cannot ult back towards his Ghost because he's got other G2 members coming down, gets the execute. It looks a little bit ugly, but no kills go down.
Yeah, no kills go down, no gold given over. And I do have an update on that Twitter question. Now, Berlin, I'm going to need you to yell the answer when I ask the question, all right? So I'm going to try this. This is brave. Berlin, will Yuumi win the game? Give me a yes or a no. As the action's going on, that's a very clear yes. 70% of you guys at home said the same thing, and Wonder is now picking a fight with the help of Yuumi. Here she comes with a death from below, delivered onto Cabochard. Mowgli as well.
And G2, just when it looks like they're having a bit of a rough early game, G2 do G2 things. They always find a way to just outplay the enemy team, picking up a few kills there.
Yeah, because no one's bot lane. They're just moving around and looking for the kills. He's not done just yet. Perkz will miss it, but he knocks him back.
So nicely done. Perkz flashes forward to get the blast cone. Gets knocked up by the Nautilus ultimate, and Spider Nautilus pulls himself to safety for now. The first tower of the game falls in favor of Vitality. Vitality, and the Maiden of the Mist is picking a fight up top. Now Yuumi is in a little bit of trouble. Mickey's going to jump into Perkz, and now Jackshot gets caught out. Jankos with a flash over the wall. Cocoon and a Venomous Bite will secure the kill. That's a repel up. Remember, spiders eat birds at some parts of the world, and definitely here in Europe. Jankos isn't done yet, though.
Yeah, they're looking for the hook onto Attila. They land the Cocoon.
And they get the kill as well. Are G2 done yet? They got the tower. Foxtrot, this is looking good for G2.
Oh man, G2 just picked up everything right there, and this is it. When G2 play Pyke in solo lanes or even in duo bot lanes, they just permanently roam around the map. When you have that Yuumi, that extra firepower, Vitality.
Wow, they're going to be in so much trouble. Yes, that was a chrono break to keep Echo alive a few seconds longer, but now the fight's not done. Wonder, he's decided to teleport in. You and me and Zoomies! Mickey keeps Jankos alive, picks the right target at the right time, finds another Cocoon. Jankos will sink his fangs in for yet another.
Perhaps Vitality are on their way. Jacktroll does see Wonder. I don't think so.
This is the final chapter. Caps is going low. He's forced to run for his life. Cabochard can't get over the wall, but he's got the flash available. He's not going to chase, and G2 look finally to be done.
How long did that passage of play last for?
Is it even over? I don't know.
Now the answer is no, because Perkz finds the boat skewer. Did not have death from below, but I was expecting a further follow-up.
We need a break at some point here. That is ridiculous. That was genuinely like 3 minutes of extended action, and sadly for Vitality, most of it was in the favor of G2.
Right, on behalf of the LEC, I would like to offer a formal apology to anybody who wanted to breathe during this game. It has been very high intensity. I would like to try slow it down a little, despite the chance here in Berlin. Let's talk about these team compositions as G2 has played the skirmish game. They played the pick game and they've got the gold lead.
Yeah, I'm so glad you bring that up, Quickshot, because right now it's two very different styles. G2 do not have the late game insurance of having an AD carry, so they rely on just continually running towards Vitality and using their surprise pick tools with the invisibility of this Pyke. They need to continue to up the tempo for the next 10 minutes of the game, because we will reach a point when Attila hits 3 items that team fights are just not that feasible for this G2 composition.
But that's perfectly fine, because while all this was happening, while Vitality's been grouping up to try and match G2 and really get that lead in the early game, Wonder's really been sitting on his island. Not only did he take that that tower in the top lane with all the plates, he now has it was a 2-level lead over Cabochard, but him having this lead is going to be really hard for Vitality to stop with this Yorick permanently pushing down his lane.
Yeah, it's also a 1,500 gold lead for Wonder in that lane too. He's hit that level 11, as you mentioned, so the side lane is very much in favor for him. The question is, can G2, post the 30-minute mark, actually rely on him to build up enough of a lead in a side lane, or can they continue to play this pick style and fast forward this game?
Well, G2 seem committed to it, and 16 minutes in, as I mentioned, 1,500 gold lead for G2. They've clawed back that small deficit they found themselves in. 4-1 and 2 for Jankos, 3-1 and 2 for Wonder. Both of them with their first big ticket items completed. The Runic Echoes, the Triforce. Caps has picked himself up a water pistol in that GLP 800, and we're still working towards some of those items. Wonder's got very good timing on that little baby cage, as every time Mowgli and Cabochard seem to step forward, he does delay them and land the skill shots.
It's a bit like when Wonder picked up that Pyke in the top lane. I kind of thought to myself, how good was he going to be on this champion? Because it is not a top lane champion traditionally, and it does have a lot of little nuances.
Well, we'll find out the end of that story in a moment. Pop Blossom goes up with a Prowling Projectile in the final chapters. Means Attila's going to get some light reading. Not yet, because he doesn't go back to the fountain. Mickey goes so low. He goes down. Jacktroll gets one back. That's the 6th of the game for Vitality. While that was going on, there was another skirmish in the river. Here comes Perkz and Jankos. They're trying to find another engage under the tower.
But they're not going to be able to find the pick spell right there. G2 going to have to back away, and Mickey does fall down in that fight, so it is Vitality with the advantage.
And while all that was happening, Cabochard lost his flash in the top lane as well. Still conceding the side lane. It's going to be a real problem now for Vitality to defend against this G2, specifically Wonder on the Yorick.
Now, I am happy that G2's playing a very new comp, a different flavor, a different style. They're playing into a little bit of a chaotic type of game that Vitality is actually very comfortable with. But this is one of the more competitive games you've seen Vitality play. But bearing in mind last week, they had a good first 15 minutes, and they made bad decisions between 20 and 23 minutes that then cost them the game. So this next 5 minutes of gameplay, decision-making, positioning, lane assignments, that's what I'm looking at Vitality for.
Exactly. It's going to be so key here. We'll actually watch this as, you know, Caps went really deep to try and find Attila right here. You see he gets the double pop on the Q as well for a lot of damage on towards Attila, who does have to kite back with his own ultimate. But because Mowgli is here and the rest of G2 is trying to scrap with Jizuke in the river, it gives a lot of room now for Vitality to turn and find that kill.
And Mickey got a little bit over-aggressive there trying to finish off Attila too, gets caught with the root under the tower. Very easy to die when you are playing Yui because you have like 3 base health, so you're pretty squishy. Mickey found that out right there.
Yeah, not meant to be, you know, alone, really.
No.
Using that Yumi as much as possible. On the Vitality side, Ghostblade picked up for Cabo, Proto Belt for Jizuke, who's on your screen right now. He's going hunting for perks. In the dashboard, use that Proto Belt, sidesteps the Bone Skewer to the Ooze in Berlin, and Rapid Fire Cannon as well as Essence Reaver for Attila. So scaling, itemization, developing.
That's
one Prowling Projectile. That was an invisible pike. Chrono Break comes out, and now Jizuke will be locked down, stunned up, dead from below. Perks gets the kill.
Yeah, that's just the 0 counterplay combo right there with Pyke Yumi. Now Jankos on the prowl. He dodges from the ulti, and they're going to find Jack Troll.
Oh man, Cocoon manages to connect. Jack Troll gets pulled backwards. Another death from below.
2 kills for Perks right there. If you had any wonders on whether Perks could play Pyke, yes, he absolutely can. Another attack on Caps.
Oh, will he get away with his life? No! Cabo Shot puts the hammer down. Vitality get another.
3rd time, 4th time, 5th charm. Can't really remember which time it was, but finally they do gank Caps and they actually kill him.
These teams just will not slow down. Attila gets caught, and he is deleted.
That's so much damage right there from Jankos Elise. That's ridiculous.
I mean, it is terrifying. Put himself 1.5 forward, and items rather, working towards another. Now Mowgli's in trouble.
Too.
Do you know, every time I see a G2 member step forward, I just think they're going for the fight. 19 kills in 20 minutes, Foxtrot. This is madness.
Constantly going for the fight. I mean, you said it, right? You said at the beginning of this game, this looks like the most solo queue composition. And the way they're playing it, this feels like the most solo queue game. So the fact that they're constantly going forward and they don't seem to have any breaks. We saw a little bit of this from Fnatic in the last game about how they're always pushing forward and eventually wearing their opponents down, which really, for me, when G2 and Fnatic play next week, is going to be an absolute blast of a game.
No doubt about it. G2 versus Fnatic, the way it's looking right now, G2 will go undefeated into that game. And this was the POV, you know, from Perks.
You can't see that Prowling Projectile from the Yumi when the Pyke is in his invisibility. So the second that Jizuke drops beneath the threshold, it is going to be a kill.
Also, keep your eyes on Perks' reactions. This is the face of a killer, ladies and gentlemen. Emotions? Come on, Perks, smile. I'm not even watching the game anymore. That was a smirk. I'll take the smirk.
His lips moved.
He said something.
He's absolutely terrifying. Emotionless.
Maybe he said smile. Maybe he's been programmed in such a way that he just says it. That's how emotions work with robots.
It is indeed. Of course, you can check out his point of view if you want to. But for now, it's going to be another kill. It's Jankos that goes down. That's the second time he's dying. It's going to be a little bit of bounty goal going his way.
That's a teleport.
There's a Spooky Ghost as well. Mowgli's going to be in trouble. He will get caught out. Bone Skewer comes out. Death from below secures yet another kill. The 13th of the game for G2 Esports.
This game is getting absolutely out of control right now. We have 21 kills in 22 minutes of gameplay. It's because both teams have such strong pick tools that, you know, G2 makes a play bot side, Vitality make a play in the mid lane. It's all over the place.
It absolutely is. Jack Troll gets away with that dredge line. Attila throws down the ultimate as well. That could be problematic if G2 fancy a re-engage. And they do. That's a Prowling Projectile. Oh my word, G2 are shooting fish in a barrel. Sorry, they're shooting bees in a nest right now because Vitality are falling out of the sky.
And they're snowballing it completely. Look, it's just that one kill onto the AD carry of Vitality, and all of a sudden, the inhibitor turret breaks. Jizuke's still in that bottom lane. It's Jankos stopping him from recalling, and they just keep going forward.
Jack Troll gets caught out once again by that Dark Procession. Wonder's connected so many of those abilities, and now Mowgli's being run down by the ghouls. The inhibitor's going to fall, and Cabo Shot steps forward. This might be trouble.
I know it's my job to talk about video games, but this game is leaving me a little speechless. I don't have a word to describe how G2 are playing. It's happening again.
I'm going to use the word beautiful as yet another kill. 5-1-7. Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, I ask you, who is the best Pyke in Europe? And why are 4 of the possible contenders on G2 Esports?
G2 just looking so good, trying to chase down Jizuke, but this is what G2 do all the time, is once again using that invisible combination, trying to catch an Attila. Perkz is caught.
Let's take a look what happens. Yeah, Perkz stays alive for a few seconds longer, needs to get out of visibility if he can. Death from below, what's up, not going to happen just yet. Still survives. Unbelievable.
Perkz was not caught. Perkz was the bait, and Vitality took it hook, line, and sinker. Now it's just up to Jizuke and Mowgli to try and hold on to the Nexus, but I don't think they can do it.
Oh, I don't think that they can. The Nexus turret is going to fall, ladies and gentlemen. For the first time in Europe, Yuumi will win a game. G2 Esports are going to use this crazy composition to take down Vitality. 20 kills in 24 minutes. They're not done yet. There's 2 more possible. Death from below, but another auto from Caps secures it. Caps finally goes down. Vitality get the 10th. The Nexus is being focused. And if I know G2, they're going to want to dive. The Winions are doing the work, though, as Attila's trying to slow them down. The Nexus is going low. Cocoon will not find a target. G2 will look for the kills before they look for the win. That's 23. They've got 1 more to find. Just do it. G2, go for the fountain. Go for the kill. Didn't find the bone skewer. Found the projectile. How much of this is bordering on the line of griefing? Finally, the Nexus will be focused, and G2 will face Fnatic next week.
What a spicy game. Was that 33 kills in like 24 minutes? That was, I mean, look, the G2's coach, Grabs, is sitting there with smiles on his face. If I was the coach of a team, and at the end of every single game, my team was trying to fountain dive the enemy, I probably wouldn't be quite as happy, but when your team's as talented as that, I mean, this team's just out of this league.
Yeah, I mean, this is what G2 do so well, though. It's it's the tempo of the game they play between 15 and 25 minutes. You will not find another team in the world that plays as fast as G2. They don't give you time to think. They act so quickly that they force mistakes from their opponents, and Vitality fell victim to that.
And this game, they did it from 3 minutes, it felt like. Foxdrop, what can you possibly say about what G2 have just done, about how they win in the games and the style that they are?
I mean, Ender summed it up perfectly. The speed at which these guys are like the most explosive team, I think, probably in the world right now. And the thing is, for me, actually, if I want to look on the other side and just talk a little bit about Vitality, because we have had a lot of criticisms about them so far in this split, and honestly, you know, what is this, like, tomorrow is day 100 since they've won a game.
Yep.
I actually think, you know, for those first 15 minutes, Vitality looked pretty good. You know, it just was not a game where they got completely blown out of the water.
But isn't it insane that Vitality's most competitive 15 minutes this weekend was against a Pyke Yuumi bottom lane, Yorick top lane? You know, yes, I agree with what you're saying, but it's just I can't take that filter off, and it's crazy to see what Vitality's state is now, but also how G2 continue to find wins.
But look, it's the same Vitality we're seeing. First 15 minutes, they can do all right. It's the mid-game decision-making. And yes, you're playing against G2. This team will push you to the absolute limits, but they had a very real win condition. 3 items on this Sivir, or on this Xayah rather. You find a team fight, your comp is so much stronger in that 5 versus 5, but they couldn't slow down the game. They went into the mud with G2, and that's where G2 just slapped them around.
Yeah, absolutely the case. So this means G2 Esports are 4-0. Fnatic are 4-0. And the match of the week, match of the summer split, dare I say match of the year thus far, between an in-form G2 and an in-form Fnatic will take place next week.
Just give me that game today. I'm so excited for it.
Nope.
Please.
You have to wait.
Please.
It is a precursor before Rift Rivals. It'll be the 2 undefeated teams. I'm actually going to ask the unbiased member of the cast the following question, because Jankos will be joining us on PGL after the break, the only member of G2 that hasn't played Pyke. Foxdrop, with the exception of Jankos, who else is the best Pyke in Europe?
Wait, what was that? Help me out, guys.
There's a lot of different names.
Yeah. I hear a lot of Hylissang's.
There's a few.
You did not.
I heard so many Hylissang's.
Nobody said Hylissang.
I did hear the word Fnatic. I don't think that's a player, though.
No, it's not. They don't understand the question. Ignore Berlin. Who is the best Pyke?
I honestly, as much as it really pains me to do this,
Oh, you're going to say Hylissang.
I'm not going to say Hylissang. Yes. I'm not going to say Hylissang, but it's someone whose name rhymes with Schmilslang. Take from that what you will.
Moving on to the key player of the game for G2 Esports, Jankos, Perkz, and Mickey over at LOL Esports. My vote goes to Mickey. He has broken the defeated streak for Yuumi, the first and only player to win with this champion in Europe. You guys at home can vote at LOL Esports on Twitter.
I agree.
Fantastic.
Mickey, Yuumi, it was sweet. I also just, I mean, like, shout out to Grabs for, like, having the confidence to be like, play Yuumi Pyke bot lane. You guys can do it. You can win games. Like, that's just awesome.
Oh, you think Grabs is the confidence one. It's Perkz. Let's see what he has to say.
Thank you guys, and thank you Perkz for joining me. I think that Yuumi and Pyke bot lane is the weirdest things I've seen since Sonatarik maybe? So can you talk me through it? Because I don't get it. How is it supposed to work?
Well, it's just very strong after lane, and you can survive lane if you play well. Both champs are kind of strong on its own, so yeah, I would say my Pyke was very bad today, and I feel ashamed of playing so bad Pyke, but I will work and practice harder, so next time I play Pyke, it will be better.
Maybe you should ask Wonder for lessons, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be the best Pyke on the team, but I think I have some work to do.
All right, you already have many Pyke players in your team, but do you feel like the game is open enough right now for you guys to play anything bot lane?
Yeah, I think there are so many combinations that we haven't even explored yet because we have not practiced together, right, for a long time, like before MSI and stuff. I was ready to play more